I think it'll be quick. Let's talk Zion and his continuous problems.
I hate they word it like that. So
Oh,
Zion Williamson's been out
unfortunate
since
events then.
the first week of January with a right hamstring injury, and a couple days ago on February 12th, Woj gave us the update that he's going to miss a couple more weeks after a setback in his recovery process, playing 3-on-3, and now for a Pelican team that has lost 10 of their last 15 games, or maybe it was more. They're on a 10-game losing streak in the middle of January without Zion, when Brandon Ingram was coming back off of a toe contusion. Zion's probably going to be out for at least 3 more weeks after the All Star break. And now you're looking at a Western Conference where Karl Anthony Towns is coming back. The Lakers got a lot better. The Mavs got Kyrie. The Suns got Kevin Durant. And with 12 teams trying to make the playoffs, somebody's going to fall out. And the Pelicans, who were the number one seed a month and a half ago, are now one of those teams that's looking like they're in dire straits.
I don't know what to say anymore, John, except for that the way Zion's career is going is he's going to be one of the biggest what ifs, one of the biggest what ifs, and I don't like saying that because he's an incredible talent. We all know how incredible. I mean, in his second season, he was averaging 28 points a game. That that's insane. Okay,
On
on
61% true
60%.
shooting.
Yes, I mean, oh Jesus Christ, dude. But I think we all know.
65% true shooting.
Yeah, I think we all know the problem though that we've all lamented is, and I hate to bring it up, but I think it's the weight. Like you can't be too. He's listed at 284 pounds right now on ESPN.com, so you can give or take, right? And maybe it doesn't all have to do with the weight. Maybe it just has to do with he doesn't all that explosion, that bounce coming down. Because dude, if
Power.
you're that close to 300 pounds and you're up and you're down and you're up and you're running back and
Like
forth,
basketball.
cut side to side, diagonal, all over the place. You're coming down with so much force. You're jumping up with so much force and ferocity. It takes a toll. And I don't know what it is. Maybe he needs to get a better nutritionist. Maybe he needs to get a better trainer, whatever, but he needs to start figuring this out because this is not good. This is possibly worst case scenario that the Pelicans feared for when drafting Zion Williamson. And I think everybody hates to say it, but it is the truth. We all just want to see him out there playing basketball because he's that goddamn good. Um, but it's just, I mean, he's gonna start being talked about with those what ifs. It's not good.
I'm not a doctor, but it's all been his right posterior chain. Right meniscus, right foot, and right hamstring. Meniscus sidelined him for most of his rookie season. His second year, played most of the year. Third season, obviously has some setbacks with the foot injury. I think what kind of sucks, um, I'm not going to be one that's going to complain about injuries. Zion's handled this very well emotionally, and you mentioned maybe getting a better nutritionist. No, he's put in the work to get into the best shape. I think the issue is we often see with athletes their biggest strength can often be their biggest enemy. Russell Westbrook, phenomenal athlete, but he never developed his skill set, his skill level, because how much we rely on that. Zion Williamson gives me appreciation for a guy like LeBron James who is strong and powerful enough, but also has the right build so where he's durable long term. Zion is a wrecking ball in the paint, and I have never seen an athlete, even looking at Charles Barkley back 25 years ago, Shaquille O'Neal would be the one player where his bounce, his assertiveness, and his athleticism is unrivaled. And no matter who you put on him, he is a battering ram going to the rim. He doesn't even need to dunk the ball. His touch around the rim is elite. Elite would be an understatement. And he's also developed so much as a playmaker to where he doesn't need to develop the 3-point shot because he creates so many looks for his teammates. The issue is that because of how powerful he is and how much weight, how much mass he has, basketball, a sport where you're always jumping, always running, and always stopping, it becomes a lot harder to play in an 82 game regular season where the NBA does something that I strongly disagree with, Brandon, and that's having a season of which it is way too long for athletes to be durable. I don't get mad at Zion at this point. I don't get mad at Kawhi. I don't get mad at Anthony Davis. Because when you expect these high profile athletes year in and year out through playoff series, international cups. You go to Japan for the Olympics, and all of these off-season workouts they're going through to consistently play 82 games in the regular season is physically impossible. It won't happen. And so when you play these 25 filler games in the regular season where at least one of the two teams is missing one of their top two players, the product of the NBA gets so much worse. And a lot of these games, I love basketball. I don't even watch because Brandon Ingram's out, Zion's out. For the Pelicans, they're one of the franchises that has been hit hard by injuries. Hard. Drew Holiday, Eric Gordon, Anthony Davis, and now with Zion Williamson, we're saying the same thing. I don't like putting so much blame on the athletes. I like to put the blame on the NBA because it is unacceptable to have an 82-game season expecting these high-profile stars to then play in the playoffs. It can't happen. They know it can't happen. But with these new TV deals coming in, they're looking at it like, yeah, it's more money. Let's do it. The NFL adds a 17th game, but with the NBA, I'm looking at them, it's like, what if you shorten the season to 60 games, right? Maybe 55. And then you have this in-season tournament that really drives home the competitive tone in February. Now, NBA fans love basketball because we're after the Super Bowl ends. You've got an in-season tournament, then you've got the All-Star break. I think the problem here isn't necessarily the players. A lot of it should go in the league because Zion playing every other night, he needs more recovery. All of these athletes do. And I think it's a little bit unfair. While they make a ton of money, it's the long-term durability of these players. And like I said before, in some ways, I think it's BS, to be honest with you.
No, I 100% agree with you. I'm not going to argue with that. I would much prefer a shorter regular season. Makes the games much more important and impactful and must watch. Yeah. Makes you appreciate those guys back in the day, in the 90s and 80s and 70s that played those 82 games or whatever, and they didn't have the fortune of the science and advanced technology that the athletes of today have. I think to MJ, this is one thing that is a feather in his cap for being the GOAT. 82 games, a lot. 80 plus games, a lot. It's and he was doing he did do the dream team. He did play those, so it's crazy, We've seen it with Larry Bird broke down, Charles Barkley, Shaq. We've seen it all, but comes with the territory. I don't think the NBA is going to change. It's a sad
I
thing
think
to
they
see
will.
because
I actually think
I you know what? I really do hope. I hope and I beg, honestly, because I think it is. If they actually do sit down and somebody would just and if they can just take off those goddamn money goggles for 1 second and just listen to somebody, all right, explain it very clear and precise to them, that it would be so much better for the game. All right, you would get more viewers and all this stuff. But
and
they
to
don't. All they see, John, all they see is the money bags.
and
That's
to
all they see.
elaborate on that, it's not like all these injuries are torn ACLs, and it's a lot of it's soft tissue. Zion's a hamstring. With Anthony Davis, it's wear and tear in his foot. With Kawhi, it's an ACL. But with Jamal Murray, same thing. With LeBron James, it's wear and tear in your feet, your hamstrings. Devin Booker is a top 12 player. For the last year and a half, he's been dealing with a hamstring injury. The same thing can be said of Bradley Beal. The inflammation for Jamal Murray coming off a torn ACL, I think you can subsidize a lot of, I guess you would say, the lack of availability by just driving home the product of a 60-game season opposed to an 82. And as a basketball fan, it would make me really happy. And that relates to Zion because I don't know how Zion is going to have a Hall of Fame career. Like, Zion is yet to play in the playoffs. Zion is in his fourth season. And if the Pelicans miss it this year, we're going to see just 90 games of one of the best duos in the league. That being B.I. and Lonzo. B.I. and Zion.